याशां गर्भमहापुरुषमहास्त्र तेजसोद्वेजितमनसां विध्वस्तव्यवस्व्यसवः संवत्सरान्ते विनिपतन्ति. Okay, word to word translation. Translation provided by His Divine Grace. Vaicharananda, Privedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ketumale. In the tract of land known as Ketumala Varsha. Api. Also, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, Kamadeva Sarupena, in the form of Kamadeva, Cupid or Prajuna, Lakshmiyaha, of the goddess of fortune, Prji, with a desire to bring about the satisfaction, Prajapatehe, of Prajapati, Duhitrana, of the daughters, Putrana, of the sons, Tatvarshapatina, the ruler of that land, Purusha Ayusha, in a human lifetime, about 100 years, Aharatra, the days and nights, Parisangyanana, which equal in number, Yasam, of whom the daughters, Garbhaha, fetuses, Mahapurusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahastra, of the great weapon, the disc, Tejasa, by the effulgence, Udvejita Manasam, whose minds are agitated, Vidvastaha, ruined, Vyasavaha, dead, Samvatsarante, at the end of the year, Vinipatanti, fall down. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami continued, in the tract of land called Ketumala Varsha, Lord Vishnu lives in the form of Kamadeva, only for the satisfaction of his devotees. These include Lakshmi Ji, the goddess of fortune, the Prajapati Samvatsara, and all of Samvatsara's sons and daughters. The daughters of Prajapati are considered the controlling deities of the nights, and his sons are considered the controllers of the days. The Prajapati's offspring numbered 36,000, for each day and each night in the lifetime of a human being. At the end of each year, the Prajapati's daughters become very agitated upon seeing the extremely effulgent disk of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus they all suffered miscarriages. Purport. This Kamadeva, who appears as Krishna's son named Pradyumna, is Vishnu Tattva. How this is so is explained by Madhvacharya, who quotes from the Brahmanda Purana, Kamadeva Sthitam Vishnu Upaste. Although this Kamadeva is Vishnu Tattva, his body is not spiritual but material. Lord Vishnu as Pradyumna or Kamadeva accepts a material body, but he still acts spiritually. It does not make any difference whether he accepts a spiritual or a material body. He can act spiritually in any condition of existence. Mayavadi philosophers regard even Lord Krishna's body as material, but their opinions cannot impair the spiritual activity of the body. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadam Tikam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vishwatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone for the Sunday Feast Srimad Bhagavatam session. So it's our great fortune that we have a platform to come and discuss this wonderful message of the Lord with the activities of the Lord, the glories of the Lord. And because in the entire creation, everyone speaks about so many material things. Absorption is only on the body or on the bodily activities. Even while we practice in Krishna consciousness also, it is very difficult, very difficult to keep on discussing about Krishna. When can we discuss about someone else? When actually from the heart we are attracted to the person. Like nowadays if you see people so much glorify about these warriors. Why? Somehow they naturally get attracted to the bravery of these army people. Naturally get attracted. Somehow we are not getting attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we are not able to discuss about Him or talk about Him continuously. This is what we have to accept. But how do we develop attraction for the Supreme Lord? But the natural way is just discuss about Him, coming together, and hearing from the other people who have such kind of attraction. So that is a very simple way. It's a contagious thing. Why, media is so, so vast, so many channels are there. Keep on talking about that person, whoever hears them, somehow they take that message from the other person who is so enthusiastically speaking, then we will also get, oh, he is such a brave person, even though we might not have seen. Actually, Rukmini gets attracted to the Supreme Lord just by hearing actually. So we are also in the same way what Rukmini was going through. Rukmini, she never saw the Lord. She was hearing only about the Lord from the devotees. By hearing about the Lord from the devotees, she developed an attraction to that extent that she wanted to marry only Krishna. She really don't know whether Krishna exists or not, but she accepted, and so much so that she developed love for Krishna, and then she wrote a letter also. If you don't come, I will suicide. I'll kill myself. So this process of Shravanam, hearing about the Lord, is such a wonderful thing. By this simple process, hearing from the devotees, what will happen? We naturally get attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So today's verse we are talking about Kamadeva. The Kamadeva attracts, induces the lusty desires. Of course, the Kamadeva here is discussed about some other person we will discuss today. So, but then what is the effect if we get attracted to the Supreme Lord? Naturally, we will not get attracted to the matter or material activities, or we don't even observe. But it's a gradual process for us. It takes over a period of time. The more we get attracted to the Supreme Lord, the more we get disattracted, or we will not get attracted to this bodily related activity. So this is a wonderful effect actually. To the proportion, in mathematics we learn directly proportion. To that proportion we get attracted to the Lord, to that proportion we will not get attracted to this material world or sense gratification. So that's why this is a platform given by Prabhupada to all of us. So generally we see over a period of time, somehow we don't, okay, this is the same thing we are hearing. No, not like that. So there are, in Bhagavad Gita, for each word there are 1,000 meanings. So Bhagavatam, every verse, we see, one time I was here, Madhva Sampradaya, saint, the sannyasi was speaking on one particular name, Narasimha. Only one particular name, Narasimha, for 3 hours. So like that, there are very in-depth meanings of each name. So, of course, but what I am trying to say, we should go on with the hearing. So today we are talking about this verse. We have Gandharva Giridhari here. Venum Kanantam Aravinda Dalayataksha Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaranga Kandharva Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govinda Mani Purushan Tamam Bhajami. So we don't have a natural attraction. In the soul we have an attraction to the Lord, but when the soul is covered by the body, we don't get attracted to the Supreme Lord's form. But when we hear the description from the scripture, the Lord is the most beautiful. So in this verse, Brahma is telling Venum Parvanta Aravinda Dalayataksham. Krishna holding a flute is attracting all the living beings. And that's what we see in 10th canto when Krishna plays a flute. What happens? Cows, deers, all the animals, including gopis, everyone gets attracted. Aravinda Dalaya Taksham, his eyes are very, very beautiful. Gopi says that, what do you say? Actually, this creator is a foolish creator. Why? He has created an eyelid. Why? Because gopis get a chance to see Krishna only for a short duration when Krishna goes out to the forest along with the cows. And then for that duration you have created an eyelid. So now that small moment we are not able to see the beauty of the Krishna. So creator must be a foolish creator. And while coming back also. So Krishna's eyes are very beautiful, Krishna's form is very beautiful. That's why they say Trutijugate Tama Pashatam Kutilatuntalam Srimukam Chate Jadavudikshatam Pakshma Pradusham Jadavudikshatam. So same Truti. For a short moment, we are not able to see the beauty of the Lord. And that's why we assume that Creator is a foolish creator. So gopis are describing the beauty of the Lord. So Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaranga. Krishna wears a peacock feather. And then he looks very, very beautiful. Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaranga. Kandharva Koti. Kandharva Koti. He is enchanter of even millions of cupids. Today we are talking about Kamadev, Cupid. So, but Krishna is the enchanter of the millions of cupids. To such Lord I am offering my humble obeisances. Cupid is the one who is very strong in the current age. So, but what Brahma is telling, even Cupid gets ashamed in front of Krishna. Krishna is very, very beautiful. So that's why one of the sweetness of Gaudiya Parampara is the devotees of Gaudiya Parampara, they focus on the beauty of Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna is very, very attractive, very beautiful. But the question is, I don't get attracted to the beauty of the Lord. That is my disease. That you have to accept. Only when a person, when he accepts his disease, then what will happen? He will work to go to a hospital, take the prescription of a doctor, and then take the medicine. But at least this much we should understand. Krishna is very beautiful. I am not getting attracted to his beauty, but the scriptures are saying it's beautiful. Let me accept and then work to take the medicine. And then died. Of course, you have a medicine chanting of the holy name, died Krishna, Krishna, not like that. So, I will give him some brief background. So, we are in the 5th canto. Everything of either Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you see an overview, they are very nicely organized. Bhagavad Gita talks about 5 concepts, Bhagavatam talks about 10 concepts, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, it talks about the concept which is after Bhagavatam, basically which talks about the love of Krishna. So Bhagavatam talks about 10 concepts. What are the Tatra Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, Mutya, Manvantara, Ishanuputa, Nivoda, Mukti, Rashtraya. So these are the 10 concepts. So you see, there's nothing, everything like Vyasadeva has written in a very, very thoughtful way. It is not an easy thing to write a book. How many of us have written book? It's very difficult to even go into their shoes and understand. It's very difficult to write a book. I heard many of the authors, their experiences. It takes a lot of effort to write a book actually. So Vyasadeva is very, very thoughtful. Of course, he is a literally incarnation of the Supreme Lord. He has put a lot of thought exactly how to present Bhagavatam. First 9 cantos, he has presented the Aishwarya, the opulences of the Supreme Lord, and only when one understands the opulences of the Supreme Lord can one actually appreciate the Madhurya, the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. That's why first 9 cantos they describe the Aishwarya of the Supreme Lord. That's why we see in the fifth canto we are going through. It's a creation so huge, so complex. It's an opulence of the Lord. What Krishna is only by fragment of my energy I am able to produce this. I am able to sustain this. So only after appreciating Krishna's greatness, then one can actually enter into the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. And then what to do then? 12th canto ends with what? Nama Sankirtanam Nisya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Sarva Dukkha, like that word Sankirtanam. So what we have to do? So to appreciate Aishwarya, to appreciate Madhurya of the Lord, the sweetness of the Lord, we have to follow this process of Sankirtan, chanting of the names of the Lord, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us. So especially fifth canto, this Udaya, creative impetus. Actually, this question even today arises: what is the purpose of a creation? And you see, fifth canto, third canto, so elaborately explains this point. What is the purpose of the creation? The purpose of the creation is not to enjoy. The purpose of creation is what something described in this fifth canto. So, if you see entire to fifth canto, the Udaya, this canto is Udaya, the impetus for the Lord to create. What is the impetus for the Lord to create? Why this creation is prepared? Why so much explanation is required to make us understand this theme? What is the theme of fifth canto? Only two things actually. If you see, first thing is to actually to condemn the sense gratification. So when sense gratification is condemned, so that we can develop detachment from sense gratification. And second thing is the prayers, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So today also we are discussing the glorification of the Supreme Lord by the residents of Ketumala Varsha. So only two things, detachment from sense gratification and then glorification of the Supreme Lord is described in the fifth canto. That's why the famous verse of this canto comes, Nayam Deho Deha Vajan Kashtan Kaman Arhate Vidbhujane Tapo Divyam Pitrakayena Sattvam Shuddhe Desma Brahma Saupyam Panantam. So Rishabdev is telling, basically is telling his sons, but is telling all of us. What is he telling? This human form of life is not for sense gratification, which is available even in the stool eating hogs and then dogs. Don't waste your life for this simple purpose. This is the theme, one of the themes. Don't waste your life for simple sense gratification. Human form of life is not for that purpose. Then what we have to do? What we have to do one time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has sent his disciples to the Western country. So the foreigners came and asked them, so I want to become a Brahmana, what I am supposed to do? They said all the four regulative principles. Then they said, what else is there to do? So similarly here, then when Rishabdev is telling to Bharat Maharaj and all the 100 sons, then what else is there for us to do? Naturally, if you see everyone, what everyone does from the morning till the night, only one activity. There is nothing else one does actually. That is sense gratification. Sense gratification, why? Because everyone wants to be happy, and the means of being happy in the material world, everyone assumes that by giving pleasure to the senses. Now, like I work for a semiconductor organization, so now the industry is moving into the direction of IoT, Internet of Everything, artificial intelligence, machine learning. For what reason? To give comforts of the next level. So I was going to Kanamangala last week, so I saw a billboard there. So they said it's a real estate ad actually. They said we are the ones who are taking the luxury to the next level. so, so I was thinking already people are struggling with the sense gratification they have. Now you are saying you are taking to the next level. I am thinking also myself. I am working on such a industry to take luxury to the next level. You know what is the luxury of next level? You know what is it? It's called smart home. Smart home means what? You enter into the home, lights will be your favorite color, washing machine will switch on, what do you say? Like in the kitchen, that microwave will start cooking for you, and then some robot will be there who will do all the activities, bring some welcome drink for you. Such kind of concept. So now what a human being has to do? He has to sit. Now to the cholesterol that which gets accumulated in the body, how he has to get out of it? He has to go to gym, advanced gym. So this is like an hypocrisy. It's an hypocrisy actually. So on one hand we want to be so comfortable, but other hand we want to be healthy also. So but Vedic way of life is such a way that there is nothing special activity is required to be healthy. Our way of life itself is very very healthy. That's why Rishabdev is condemning sense gratification. Other thing is the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Now toward the second portion of the 50th canto of the Bhagavatam, we are seeing this glorification of this, glorification of the Lord by different residents. So why different residents have to be mentioned? Because if He is glorifying, who are very advanced than human beings who are staying in this Bharatakanda, Bharatavarsha, then what about, they are all advanced human beings, advanced living beings, they are glorifying what is that you are doing? You are wasting your time. It's like comparison. If such kind of person, for example, to just understand, like for example, like if Prime Minister Modi is going to the morning program every day, and everyone is glorifying him, then what happens? Immediately, I should also go to the morning program. Of course, his lifestyle is also very different. So. This is a comparison. If they are glorifying, they are so advanced in consciousness, why you don't glorify? Are you thinking yourself better than them? So that's why this glorification of the Lord is mentioned. So now the question is that naturally the theme will come. If the glorification of the Lord is very, very important, now why Sukadev Goswami has to explain in so much detail about the cosmology. If you see the cosmology, like many devotees say, no, this is outside my scope. Like it's such a gigantic universe. In that half of the universe is filled with water, and then half of the universe also, it's only a lotus stem is there. 14 planetary system: Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Tala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala, Bhu, Bhur, Swar, Janaloka, Satyaloka, Tapoloka, Maharloka. So much complexity is there, and within that, now only within the Bholoka, which is earthly planetary system, there are dvipas. We are talking about the Jambu Dvipa. And within the Jambu Dvipa, we are talking about today Ketumala Varsha. Of course, there are other Varshas. Where we are staying is Bharata Varsha. And within that Varsha, there is one Kanda, Bharata Kanda. Within that, we are staying in a small. So much complex. If that is the case, if glorification of the Lord is required, why Sukadev Goswami has to focus on the minute details of the creation? So, of course, on the other side, in the modern science, even today, they don't have a complete picture of the cosmology, how this entire universe is prepared. Actually, is there anything beyond the Earth? They talk about Mars and other things. Is that really exists? They don't have a complete picture of the universe even now. But our Bhagavatam, Vedic scriptures are talking about the complete picture, how everything is situated in what location. We have a science also called astrology, which says precisely what's going to happen, how everything is moving in a particular orbit. Like every day we can predict the sunrise, sunset in so precise way. But modern science we don't have a complete picture even now. Why Sukadeva Goswami has to describe that thing in very very detail? Because when you understand the complexity of the creation, then naturally one question comes. What is that question? Who is that creator? Who is that creature who is so intelligent in designing such a complex creation, and who is actually managing such a complex creation in a very, very seamless way? Now we talk about a communication. When we talk about communication, we talk about a communication of seamless communication. So, but Krishna is so intelligent. So that means when you see the creation, naturally the question comes from the creator. And not only that, we also talk about his intelligence. So that's why Sukadeva Goswami purpose is actually not to give the minute details of the creation, rather to glorify the Supreme Lord, who is actually the root of the creation. Who is the root of the creation? So, but Sukadeva Goswami is such a wonderful, devotee who has graphically explained the entire creation, but focus is on the Supreme Lord. Graphically description is there. Actually, even to remember all the description is very difficult. I don't know how Sukadeva Goswami was able to remember and present. So this is called, that's why these pure devotees, what do? They actually see and then they present. While they are seeing, they are presenting, they are in samadhi. So that's why they are able to present. It's a graphical description. Even for the modern science to even to arrive at this, I don't think it is a possible thing. Of course, simple theory that geocentric theory, heliocentric theory, we are still modern science talks about heliocentric theory. Vedic science talks about geocentric theory because sun revolves around the earthly planetary system, which is called geocentric theory. In the modern physics also there, but it's not accepted. But the theory which is accepted in the modern science is heliocentric theory. What? Earth revolves around the sun. But Vedic science very clear. Geocentric theory. Sun revolves around the earthly planetary system. Sumeru mountain as the axis. So like that. So another purpose is there when you actually see the material creation, how material creation is formed. This is called a Sankhya Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna talks about the Sankhya Yoga. What is meant by Sankhya Yoga? Sankhya means number, statistics. So Sankhya is a number. So in Sankhya Yoga, what is that we do? Simple thing. We are counting the elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that we count till 24. There are 24 material elements are there. But atheistic Sankhya Yoga, theistic Sankhya Yoga, what is the difference? In atheistic Sankhya Yoga, the elements are counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 24 elements. What are the 24 elements? There are Panchabhuta, 5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, 5 Tanmatra, and then mind, intelligence, ego, and Mahatattva. So 24 elements are there. But atheistic Sankhya Yoga means in that there is no person behind that. It came automatically. But in the theistic Sankhya Yoga, after analyzing everything, what is that we come to a conclusion? Who is that person who has created these 24 elements? That's why the study of the creation is so important. When we see the creation, naturally the question of creator comes. So who is that person who has created these 24 elements? That's why creation is also two types. There is a primary creation and then secondary creation. What is this primary creation? So Vyasadeva starts with this verse only. Janmadhyasya yatha ikarata sateshu abhigna swaratene brahma hridayadi kave muhyanti et surya. Janma adi yasya. That creation adi means maintenance, destruction are actually done by the Supreme Lord. So this is the definition of the absolute truth which Vyasadeva gives in the first canto, first chapter, first sloka. That creation, maintenance, destruction, they all come from the Supreme Lord. The primary creation is what? Primary creation is creation of the 24 elements. So that's just now we discussed. But what is going on now? It's actually the secondary creation. What is secondary creation? Taking all those 24 elements and then mix them together and produce. Who does that? Actually, Brahmaji does. That's why Brahmaji is also called as a creator, but he is a secondary creator. He is arranging all the 24 elements and then produce 14 planetary system. So he has designed exactly which planetary system, who should stay, what kind of body. That's why all the residents of all the planetary system, they don't have a similar body. earthly planetary system people have a certain body, the Kinnaras have certain body, Siddhas have certain body. The body is different. Who has designed that? Actually, Brahmaji is designed. Brahmaji has designed that. So that's why Brahmaji is called secondary creation. That's why the creation is, to understand the creation is also very complex. Even though one can understand the creation, one will not be able to replicate, because you see in this theistic Sankhya Yoga what happens? There is a pradhan. Pradhan is what? Unmanifested, unvariegated, undifferentiated energy of the Lord, material energy of the Lord, which is called as pradhan. On the pradhan, Krishna glances, then that gets agitated. Now you see, even though one may be able to understand this process of the creation, one can never be able to replicate that. Why? Because Krishna as a time force activates that energy. Only then that transforms into Mahatattva and then transforms into modes of the material nature, and then sound, all the other things will start coming. That's why the purpose of it, this is simple thing, just to understand the greatness of the Supreme Lord. It's not Prabhupada says that God is great, but it is not sufficient to understand just how God is great, but to also go in the details of the greatness of the Lord. How exactly is great? That's what this fifth canto, third canto is trying to explain that. So after understanding this, then what will happen? Oh, Krishna is not a ordinary person. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So he is managing everything. I am a tiny being. Just to code something in my office, I struggle a lot. So, but Krishna is the behind everything. So naturally what will happen? Oh, Krishna is so great. This is called Aishwarya of the Supreme Lord. That's why in the 11th canto also, 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna tells to Arjuna, only by fragment of my energy I am sustaining this. So that's why first 9 cantos are glorifying about the opulences of the Supreme Lord. So now we are in the which topic? Secondary creation within that Jambu Dvipa, and then we are talking about the Ketumala Varsha, where the residents of Ketumala Varsha are glorifying Kamadev. So this Kamadev, who is this Kamadev? So Kamadev, there are two Kamadevs. Original Kamadev is Pradyumna, and then there is a demigod Kamadev. Is actually Cupid, who is the husband of Rati. No? So this Kamadev, what is the duty of this Kamadev? He actually induces lusty desires in the living being. So what happened? This Kamadev, when he tried to induce lusty desire in Lord Shiva, who was actually performing austerities, severe austerities, then Lord Shiva became very angry, and then he burnt the body of Kamadev. This is a demigod Kamadev. So now this thing, that means you see, even Lord Shiva became angry when the provocation came, when the provocation came, and then he exhibited the anger and destroyed the body of, it's a gross body of Kamadev, demigod Kamadev. So now Kamadev, to get another body, then what he did? He entered into the body of the original Kamadev, is a Pradyumna. So now when Krishna came in this material world, and in Dwaraka, when he married 16,108 queens, so the eldest one is Rukmini. So now Krishna, with the, when he united with Rukmini, then this Pradyumna came. So this, along with this Pradyumna, this demigod Pradyumna is also there. So that's how he again got the body of, the body. And then later the story is there how Pradyumna got married to Rati. All the description is there in our Bhagavatam also in 10th canto. So this Cupid, what he does, he actually induces lusty desires in the living being. So similarly, this Cupid, so I just want to show a contrast. So similarly, one time Indra, why Indra, being a demigod and is the king of the demigods, is the king of the heavenly planets, he always worries if someone performs austerities. Actually, in this world, to attain a power, what Bhagavatam says, to perform austerity. You see Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyasha, they performed austerity to attain such a big powerful position. So, even today, Naranarayan Rishi, they perform what? They perform tapasya in Badrik ashram. So, to show us how to perform tapasya. So, when Naranarayan Rishi were performing tapasya, so and then they were performing for quite intensely from time immemorial, and then Indra misunderstood. Oh, because when Lord comes, it is very difficult to identify he is Krishna. Indra also mistook. Even Brahmaji also misunderstood that. In that way, the Brahma Vimoha Leela came. That's when he saw Krishna was eating with the left hand, that too with remnants of his friends. Krishna was misunderstood by Brahmaji, and Brahmaji thought, no, he cannot be Krishna. Krishna can only eat which is offered in Yajna book. He eats through sacrifices. So how can he eat with the left hand? Eating with the left hand is condemned. How we can eat with the left hand? So that's why Brahmaji got confused. Even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this material world, for many years, until he got married, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited scholarly pastimes. And everyone, Gadadhar Pandit, when he used to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to run away. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting scholarly pastimes, he used to catch everyone. Hey, can you tell what is Mukti? What is Mukti? What is Mukti, by the way? So he used to ask like that question. And Gadadhar Pandit used to answer the question. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to defeat that argument and say, no, that is not Mukti. Then Gadadhar Pandit used to feel that, please leave me, I will go away. Not only he, all the devotees, when they used to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they used to run away. They have not recognized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Supreme Lord Krishna. And then they used to feel, this Nimai is such a great scholar, is greatly intelligent. No one can compare with him in his scholarship skills. Even this Keshav Kashmiri was defeated, who is actually a great scholar. Everyone has signed. Everyone, when he came to Navadvip, all the scholars were afraid of this Keshav Kashmiri. But this Nimai was a boy who has very easily defeated this Keshav Kashmiri. That Nimai, all the devotees used to see him and run away. They have not realized him as a Krishna. And only when he went to Gaya, and then later he came back from Gaya, and then he is exhibiting the symptoms of the love for Krishna, then only devotees have used to recognize. Until that time, what devotees used to feel, this is one wonderful thing we can learn from this devotees' pastimes, that when they used to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an Nimai, as a scholar, they used to feel, if such a scholar becomes a devotee, how wonderful it is. Then entire world can become Krishna conscious. That is the mode of the devotee. So they used to pray to the Lord, let this Nimai become a wonderful devotee. Can you imagine? They are praying to Krishna to bless Krishna to become devotee of Krishna. So this is something interesting in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. So they could not recognize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord. They could not recognize. So here, when Indra saw that Naranarayan Rishi was performing this tapasya, he also could not recognize Naranarayan Rishi as directly the Supreme Lord. So what did he do here? He thought that, this Naranarayan Rishi must be performing tapasya for taking away my kingdom, Indra Loka. So that's why what did he do? He has always a weapon. This is the strongest weapon of the material world, to make someone fall from his original position, or to test his character. What is that?
Left.
To induce a lusty desire, send a very beautiful girl. So the greatest weapon of the material world, even the Maya uses this weapon to send an opposite gender. So that's why, this Cupid is actually induces the lusty desire, so that they will fall down from their position. That's why Bhagavatam says, Pumsa Striya Mituni Bhava Maitan. So when man and woman they unite, their bonding becomes so strong that the concept of bodily conception becomes more strong, and they don't want to leave that. So that is condemned. So now Indra also took use of the same weapon. What is the weapon? Let me send one Apsara celestial girl from my repository of the girls, and then he sent. So to allure whom? To allure Naranarayan Rishi. And what happened? As soon as Naranarayan Rishi saw, then what happened? He started smiting at the Apsaras. And they understood actually the arrows released by Cupid could not affect this Naranarayan Rishi. And then Cupid became worried again. What will happen? He understood is the Supreme Lord only. Only Supreme Lord will become unaffected by this kind of lusty desires. So then he was worried. Then Naranarayan Rishi smiled. Don't worry, you are my guest. So don't worry, come. So in that, and then he said that you please come, I will give you something more wonderful. You came to allure me, thinking that I am an ordinary living being and performing tapasya for capturing your heavenly kingdom. Don't worry, come. I will give you something. And then Krishna, that Naranarayan Rishi from his thighs, he produced beautiful many number of apsaras. And then he said, you choose the best one from here and then be happy with that. And then what happened? These Indra and other demigods, out of shame, they have chosen this Urvasi, who is actually the most beautiful, and then they took her and then went back to the heavenly abode. So you see, on one hand, when Lord Shiva was pierced by the arrows of the Cupid, the Kamadev, what happened? Lord Shiva became angry. Angry is what? Actually, Bhagavad Gita, Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. When lust and anger are actually the qualities of the mode of passion. So that means Lord Shiva, of course, is showing something in this pastime. So what is he showing? That even Lord Shiva, such as great as Lord Shiva, what happened? He came under the influence of anger and then burnt the Cupid, the demigod Cupid. On the other hand, when Krishna, being pierced by the same arrows of the Cupid, what happened? That Lord, what happened? On the other hand, instead of becoming agitated, what happened? He was smiling, and then he gave himself the other gift to heavenly planets. So you see, there is a contrast. This shows that Lord Shiva is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even we see this in that Bhrigu Rishis, Bhrigu Munis, the pastime of who is the Supreme Lord. He goes and doesn't offer obeisances to Brahmaji. Brahmaji becomes angry. When he goes and insults Lord Shiva became angry. But Lord Krishna, on the other hand, Vishnu, when he was kicked upon the chest by Bhrigu Muni, what happened? It says, oh Rishi, is your palm, is your feet is okay, is not hurt, right? That's how Krishna said. So this kind of reciprocation or this kind of quality exhibition can only be done by the Supreme Lord. So in this pastime, on the one hand, the Cupid tried to pierce Lord Shiva, he got agitated. On the other hand, Krishna was undisturbed. So this proves that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this also says that one interesting thing, Krishna is what? Krishna can never be touched by lust. Krishna can never be touched by anger. What is lust? To fulfill his own desires. When the desires are not fulfilled, what happens? That lust gets transformed to the anger. So, what is Krishna doesn't have anything unfulfilled desire, apta kama. Krishna can fulfill unlimited desire by himself. It doesn't need anyone's help to fulfill his desire. If there is no unfulfilled desire, where is the question of wrath or anger? That's why Krishna can never be touched by lust. Krishna can never be touched by anger. So, but people out of ignorance ask question: what kind of God your God is, who dances with the wives of others? Krishna danced with gopis, and Your God married so many people. It appears he is so lusty. No, I have one of my relative who says, I worship Lord Ram. I worship Lord Ram, but I cannot worship Lord Krishna because seeing Ram, Lord Ram is Ekapatni Vrata. He no, but Krishna, I cannot. I cannot accept him. He's a God only. Even many people. 1 year back, this no, the documentary came, the Kerala story documentary. In that we are not against the conversion because if you convert someone so that he can go towards the platform of loving God, that's a wonderful thing. But that question, that ignorant question, what that Muslim girl was asking, so-called Hindu girl who doesn't know anything, who doesn't read anything, but only in the namesake they call themselves as Hindu. How can your God is called God when he is so lusty, dancing with wives of others? So he cannot be God. And then she understood, yes, wow, this is correct logic. He actually cannot be God. A lusty man cannot be God. But here we see such a contrast. When the Cupid is trying to induce lusty desires in the Supreme Lord is unaffected by the lust. What to speak of? Anger. So that's why Krishna is a supremely pure. Krishna is supremely pure. Anyone who comes in touch with Krishna becomes also pure. That's why we have Sukadeva Goswami, Haridas Thakur, stalwart devotees. They have conquered Maya by the touch of the Supreme Lord. So that's why it's a very important for all of us to go through purports of Srila Prabhupada very nicely. Then otherwise when someone questions, we will also become bewildered. Yes. Wow. Your logic is so nice. So nice. You are saying correctly. Yes. How can God will dance with others? Wives. So if we read our scripture, then we'll clearly understand Krishna doesn't need anyone to fulfill his desires. In this material world, man requires a woman, woman requires a man. Everyone requires other support to fulfill their desires. So we can come under the influence of the lusty desire, but Krishna can never come under the lusty desire. So there is a wonderful narration in the Gopal Tapani Upanishads. So one time Durvasa Muni came to Vrindavan. He was staying in the on the bank of Vrindavan, that Yamuna river, and then he needs some prasadam. Krishna wanted to send gopis on the to serve Durvasa Muni. You go and serve Durvasa Muni and get the blessings of Durvasa Muni. The gopis agreed, they prepared something, but they have to cross Yamuna river. So they have to cross Yamuna river. Yamuna river, if you see the depth of the Yamuna river, the currents which are coming, so naturally these are the ordinary cowherd girls. They don't know the swimming, and that even when one may know swimming also, to cross the Yamuna river is very, very difficult. Then gopis asked Krishna how to cross the river. So now Krishna said, what did he say? You say to Yamuna, I am a brahmachari. So you understood? So gopis asked Krishna now how to cross this river Yamuna, which is flowing with the intense currents. So now Krishna said to gopis, you tell to Yamuna, I am a brahmachari. Krishna is a brahmachari. Then Yamuna will give the way. Actually, Yamuna gave the way to Vasudeva also, right? When Krishna was carried to the Gokul from Mathura. So now Krishna said to gopis, you tell to Yamuna, what you tell? Krishna is a brahmachari. Gopis are laughing. Why they are laughing? The previous night only Krishna danced with all the gopis, unlimited gopis, and then everyone is laughing. This Krishna is joking with us. But actually, they also knew one thing: Krishna also does miraculous things, because in the birth only when Krishna appeared, this Gardhamuni has predicted. Actually, Narayana through Krishna performed some wonderful activities with Krishna, and they have a live experience also. Not only they heard, they have a live experience. They have killed very cool. Krishna killed Putana, Krishna killed Shakatasura, Dhenukasura, not Dhenukasura, so Krishna killed so many asuras. Krishna also subdued Karya. And the gopis have this live experience and thought, okay, let us accept the words of what Krishna is saying, and then let us repeat what Krishna is saying. And then they repeated Krishna is a brahmachari. Immediately Yamuna gave the way. And then gopis have crossed, and then of course they served Durvasa Muni. And then of course that after that only Radharani got the blessings. Of course Radharani is the original mother, but she got the blessing that whatever you cook every day it will be different variety and it pleases the Krishna actually. She got that blessings. After that, even today, of course in Golaka Vrindavan, every day she cooks a different dish for the Lord. Krishna doesn't like same thing. Krishna wants variety. Because the variety is the mother of enjoyment. That's why we also want variety of foodstuffs in the prasad. So that variety is required. So, but unfortunately, what happens? Without knowing Krishna is a brahmachari, Krishna actually is not lusty when he is interacting with the gopis. Otherwise, if ordinary person who is a lusty person, he cannot enjoy with many women. But when Krishna expanded into unlimited Krishnas and he was dancing with every gopi, so it's only Krishna can do. And as soon as the gopis felt little pride, Krishna is with me, then Krishna is also had that opulence of renunciation, immediately left. So that's all these pastimes shows that actually Krishna can never be affected by the lust. Krishna can never be affected by the anger. Rather, one who comes in touch with Krishna, they become purified. So this Kamadeva, Cupid, can only induce lusty desires in those people who are not in touch with Krishna. That's why we see Sukadeva Goswami. As soon as he came out of the womb, he was there in the womb for 16 years. As soon as he came out of the womb, he ran away from the house. Why? Only on the assurance. Why he was not coming out of the womb of his mother? Because Sukadeva Goswami knew that as soon as I enter into this material world, what happens? I will be affected by the modes of the material nature. Only on the assurance of Krishna, then Sukadeva Goswami came out. But that Sukadeva Goswami, as soon as he came out, he ran away from the home. And Vyasadeva was crying, oh my son, I have not performed any of the samskaras. Why are you running away? Come my child. And then Sukadeva Goswami was not hearing, and he was naked, completely naked. And on the way when he was walking, there is a lake where some women are taking bath, who are all naked. And they were indifferent to Sukadeva Goswami. But as soon as Vyasadeva started crossing that, they immediately started putting up their clothes. So this shows that Sukadeva Goswami is also beyond this effect of lust, anger, greed. He is also already on the transcendental platform. So this pastime shows that not only Krishna, anyone who comes in touch with Krishna, anyone who performs devotional service of the Supreme Lord Krishna, what happens? He also can transcend. That's why in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samatityaita brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Anyone who performs avyabhicharini bhakti, unmotivated, uninterrupted, like basically pure devotional service, what will happen? Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Performs pure devotional service, sagunam samatityaita. What will happen? He will transcend the modes of the material nature. Saguna samatyaitya brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He will be situated in the transcendental platform. So, three modes of the material nature. One of the quality of passion has this induces lust and anger, kama yesha, krodha yesha. So, what will happen when one performs pure devotional service? One will transcend these base qualities of the material nature. Now we see in the society, current society is afflicted with this. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayasya. Even Prabhupada writes in his that bhajan, how these modern civilized people who are affected with all these anarthas. Tada raja tamo bhava kama lobha dayasya. Chetayate anavritti sthitam satve prasiddhati. When one performs pure devotional service, what will happen? One can actually overcome. So overcome these base qualities. So the current society is suffering from this thing. All the crimes ultimately root cause to this lust only. Krishna also says Mahashano Mahapapma Vittiyena Eha Vairinam. In this material world, the greatest enemy is the lust. Because of this enemy, everyone performs all kind of sinful activities. And we see in the current society, all crimes happen ultimately root cause to this lust, which is actually induced by Cupid, demigod Cupid. What is the solution? The only solution is Krishna consciousness. The only thing that can save the society is Krishna consciousness. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say the only thing that is lacking in the society is what? Lack of Krishna consciousness. If we can actually bring back Krishna consciousness in the society can be freed from all unwanted things. So now the question may come, I am trying to practice, but is that I am freed from this? No. Because we are not yet performing the pure devotional service. We are somewhere trying to practice pure devotional service. We are not yet performing pure devotional service. What does that mean? It means we will be affected by this lust, anger, greed, all the other 6 enemies. All the 6 enemies will get affected. But as I said in the beginning, if we can be fortunate when we realize I have enemies within me. You know? The person is such a fool. The person who is foolish, who cannot understand his enemies. But because of Krishna consciousness, because of Prabhupada, now we came to understand my enemies are this lust, anger, greed, and all the other things. They are sitting within me only. A person who realizes that is fortunate. If you are in a conditioned state, if you are actually realizing my enemies are sitting within me, I don't have to fight with enemy outside. I have to fight with enemies inside. That means we are fortunate. In our state, we are very, very fortunate if we can realize our enemy. But after realizing our enemy, what will happen? Then we will be alert. That's why in our system, Prabhupada has given that we have to address women as a mother. There is a mingling is not allowed. Only we have to be very careful. But the person who does not realize his enemies, what will happen? He will become careless. He will watch television, he will watch this, that, content. Entire internet content is filled with obscene things. What will happen? He will get influenced by such things. But one who realizes enemy, oh, my enemy is within me, so I should be careful in watching some content. YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, these, that, everything. So a devotee is very careful. Naturally, what will happen? He will be away from such content. So whatever he is seeing, whatever he is hearing, whatever he is speaking, he wants as much as possible to try to connect with Krishna. Hearing only about Krishna, speaking only about Krishna, seeing only things related to Krishna. Then a devotee becomes alert. Already I am lusty, I am under influence of lusty desires. When I watch these things, when I watch the so-called content in the modern civilization, only 2 things are shown in the any content, sex and violence only. So what will happen? A devotee is very, very careful in getting contaminated from such. Already fire is glowing, it's burning, and then on top of it, if I see these things, then what will happen? It's like a pouring ghee on top of it, it will become more and more. That's why Prabhupada said, what is that verse? Nayad vachas chitram padam hare desho jagat pavitram pragrinita karichit tadvayasam tirtam ushanti manasa nayatra hamsa niramat yusikshaya. He said that all this is garbage. Novels, TV, these, that. No, we are having a big demon. So we have to be very careful. Prabhupada is mentioning in that verse, all such things are actually garbage. They are attracted. Who get attracted? Crows get attracted. But Paramhamsas, they don't get attracted to this thing. So now, when we realize our enemy, what is that we have to do? We have to be introspective. We have to be careful in following rules and regulation, not giving ourselves to such kind of experiences in watching that. Whatever may be, anything video, that's why use our time carefully, use our energy carefully in the service of the Lord, and as much as possible attempt to progress in this path of pure devotional service, which starts with Shravanam and then associating with the devotees. This is not an ordinary thing what Prabhupada has given. We just have to take this seriously and be alert. Then what will happen? We can also Sagunan, Samati Keta, Brahma Boyaya Kampate. But 100% don't happen in a day one. to the, as I said, directly proportional. To the extent we are performing pure devotional service, to that extent we will progress towards that direction of overcoming this quality. So, in short, today we discussed how this entire creation is for what purpose? To actually come to this point of detaching oneself from sense gratification, attaching oneself to Krishna, how to get attached by glorifying Krishna, and how the residents of Ketumala are glorifying this Cupid, who is original Pradyumna, and that's how they were living in that version. So, what we have to do, we should also live our life in a similar way, following the process given by Prabhupada, getting detached from sense gratification and attached to Krishna by glorifying Krishna. For that, we have to hear and follow the process. Then our life will also become glorious. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, any questions or comments? If there is no question or comment, then you can one of you ask the resumption.
Question is little lengthy because I need to give 2-3 context. Actually, I was wandering with this doubt last couple of weeks, and fortunately, I hear this lecture giving me opportunity to ask this question. So the thing is, the entire universe, when the creation happens, is all covered with 3 Gunas.
Okay.
And then there is a concept of 84 yonis.
84?
Yonis.
84 lakh.
84 lakhs yonis. All these 84 lakh yonis fall under this tribunal.
Okay.
Now coming to the human form. It's said that this is the only platform where you get a chance to practice Krishna consciousness and get elevated and re-establish your connection back to the Godhead and go back to the place where you came from. Now it's also said that to go to that state, someone need to elevate from Tamo to Rajo to Satta, and then from Satta to go back to Suddha Sattva. And it is mentioned in 3rd canto, 15th chapter, that the people or the residents of Golok Vrindavan are situated in Suddha Sattva. Now, my question is, when somebody is in Suddha Sattva, why there is genders in Golok Vrindavan? In Golok Vrindavan is mentioned in 15th chapter, 15th chapter in 3rd canto is mentioned that everything that is there in Golok Vrindavan is divine. Starting from a tree to a cow or from a male or a female. And it is also mentioned that the residents of Golok Vrindavan, they travel in aeroplane with their beautiful companions. So my question is, if somebody living in a Suddha Sattva, why there is a gender? Because in this form, human form, in universe, the purpose of gender is to get the chance to bring one another jiva to the platform and give him proper education so that he can also practice Krishna consciousness and go back to the Godhead. But there that funda is not there. Then why there is gender?
There is gender in the spiritual world. So actually then the same question can be extended. Why there is a tree in the spiritual world?
Exactly, I have noted that question also.
Okay.
Why there are 84 lakh yonis that I mentioned is because of that.
Then.
Why there are, because what I understood, what we studied in the Bhagavatam is, the gender are given based on your karmas.
Okay.
And then why there is a tree? Then I got later answer that is maybe because when I am practicing Krishna consciousness, in bhava level, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is mentioned that who desire to get me in whatever form, I come to him in that form. So somebody might be thinking in a bhav level that I want to be a tree and produce wonderful flowers, and that can become a garland of my Lord's in my Lord's neck behind me. So maybe with that thought, he get a tree form. So this is what I am interpreting.
Okay. So there are multiple questions in one question. So the question is why there is gender in the spiritual world. So if that is the question, the same question can be extended to many things like why there is a tree, why there is a cloud, is a cloud is a person. Like we also hear from that Brahma Samhita, right? What is that verse? Chinta mani pakanasad mashukalpa vriksha laksha vruteshu sudhavira vipalayantam lakshmi sahasra satasam brahmasevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. In the spiritual world, everything is conscious. Does that mean tree is also conscious? Cloud is also conscious, stone is also conscious, everything is a conscious. If why Krishna has to create all such things, then what is required? Only Krishna and everyone else also in the form of human form, or the Krishna's form, which is a two-handed form. So now our Girija Bhushan Prabhu's question is, nothing else is required, only Krishna and only other living entity have a two-handed form who are only male. No female is required, nothing is required. So that is in short his question. But Krishna when he expands to actually multiply his enjoyment. As I said, variety is the enjoyment. So whatever we see in this material world, what is this material world? If you see 15th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Urdhvam Moolam Adashakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Padnani Yastam Veda Savedavi. What is this material world? It is actually a reflection of the spiritual world. So whatever we see in this material world, the original thing is there in the spiritual world. So I am seeing here female form. So but that means female form is also there. I am seeing some stone. The stone must also be there, but in a original position. So now how actually that's why now this concept is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Krishna is alone. Now he felt I want to enjoy, so he wanted to multiply. That's why what he did, he expanded himself as Radha. So who is Radha Rani? Radha actually there's no difference between Radha and Krishna. Krishna is masculine feature of God, Radha is feminine feature of God. Understand? The God in masculine feature is actually Krishna. The God in feminine feature is Radha. But Radha is energy, Krishna is energetic. So Purusha is only Purusha in the spiritual world or anywhere is a Krishna, is a Purusha. Everyone else is energy, whether they are in a male form or female form. They are energy. But first started with Radha. That's why the Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, what is that? Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Rasmat. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Rasmat. So this Ladini Shakti of the Lord, what happened? So Krishna expanded, using this Ladini potency as Radha, and then Krishna started reciprocating with Radha for his own enjoyment. So God in masculine feature is Krishna, God in feminine feature is Radha. So now in his creation, what happens? No masculine form, feminine form. So he replicated everything in the spiritual world. But now the question comes, you already mentioned that, no, he created. Let's say he has created because he wanted a variety. So now after creating, whether the men and women in the spiritual world, they get attracted to each other or they get attracted to the Krishna. So now Krishna wanted to prove the attraction for Krishna is so strong, so intense, even though they may be beautiful, women in the spiritual world, they don't get attracted. Why Krishna? This is to prove Krishna is all attractive. Even they have so much attractive female with you in the spiritual world, but the attraction for Krishna is million times intense that this attraction is insignificant. So to prove that, and the power of devotional service, Krishna is created. That's why there's no attraction among each other in the spiritual world. Whatever any living entity does in the spiritual world is actually does everything to please Krishna. Now a stone, a cloud. What cloud feels? Cloud is also conscious. I told some time back. So cloud, no summer is going on here, but of course Bangalore weather is little much better actually. If you go to North India, it's very hot. So, but in spiritual world, whether summer is there or not, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Natat bhashete suryo na shashanko na pavata hettatva na nivartate tattama param." No, not required. Sun is not required. But whether sun is there or not in the spiritual world is there. But whether summer is there or not, is there. As soon as Krishna is feeling the intensity of the heat in the spiritual world, what cloud will think? Oh, Krishna is getting, like no, Krishna is getting little warm, like no, he's feeling no sweaty, right? So then immediately cloud will feel, oh, how can I serve Krishna? Immediately cloud, what it will does? And it goes under the sun where Krishna is standing, and then sun rays will not fall on Krishna, and Krishna feels cool. Now how cloud has done the service? Cloud is also conscious what Krishna is experiencing there. Here I don't understand what Krishna wants here. Somehow our acharyas have to tell, and then I have to follow that to please Krishna. But they're conscious of Krishna's desire, what Krishna is experiencing. Krishna is sweaty, then immediately cloud will come. And then how stone will feel the service for the Lord? Stone feels that, oh, when will Radha and Krishna come and sit on me so that I can serve them. So variety, for what purpose? Variety is to give enjoyment to Krishna only. So to prove that. So the second thing you have asked about that form, someone in the Bhava level, he will think I want to betray. No, this is our Gaudiya Parampara has not accepted that. No one should meditate on what is their form. Everything is revealed. Our original Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai. When actually we advance in Krishna consciousness, our original form is revealed. Until that time, we should never follow this practice of, even at whatever stage may be, we should never follow this is I am. In actually Vrindavan, Radhapur, this practice is called Siddha Pranali. In the conditioned state, they will say you are gopi, you are a peacock, and they start practicing it. That is conducted by our acharyas, especially Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada never encouraged that. So that's why we should not go into that direction of what is a meditation, but everything will be revealed. When time comes, when we are actually progressing in Krishna consciousness, holy name will reveal everything. This is what our parampara gave. So that's why we should not worry about what is my position there, whether I should meditate something, nothing. Our process is what? Shravanam and Kirtanam in the parampara. That is what we need to do. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Pasindubhyascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Srila Prabhupada ki